voice of Stockton.
Welcome to the afternoon entertainment hour at OJ's Juice Bar, and here's today's juice.
Listen to OJ's Juice Bar, Sundays at 4 p.m. on KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
The Third City Podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show, we examine case studies in urban development in Stockton and other cities like Stockton across the country, exploring their local and regional impacts. Individual efforts play a role in Third City development, and it starts with you.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Julie Dameron, local veterinarian for over 20 years. I am so excited about my new radio show, Tales and Tips, on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Voice of Stockton, and KXVS Radio. I will discuss relevant issues affecting animals and pet owners today, how to avoid common problems, and how to extend the quality of life for your cherished companions. As a community advocate, I will also discuss important social issues that affect our city. I plan to showcase organizations and heroes who are doing amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
KXVS, the voice of Stockton, live. The voice of Stockton at Stone Soup Studio. KXVS.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Welcome to the afternoon Saturday, the Doug Vigil Show at 3 o'clock. Thanks for coming and watching. We'll be talking about Aikido, A-I-K-I-D-O. And I have my guest, Torrey Statdner. And he's a teacher at one of the instructor of New School. And thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Last minute, I appreciate you coming. Tell them about what Aikido stands and what is it about.
Well, Aikido stands for, it's an acronym for in Japanese, meaning harmonious life force and the way of that life force and the harmony of the spirit. And it differs, it's a form of self-defense, personal self-defense. And what makes it different from karate and kung fu and things like that is that our goal is not to hurt anybody. Our goal is to defend ourselves and maintain our space, and then let the other person go their separate way.
Okay. So how persistent is that martial art? It began. I never heard of that before. Everyone heard about kung fu,
yes.
Other karate martial art. So
yes.
Tell me, when did that started? That
yes.
foundation.
It's very new. It's very new. It started after the war, after the World War II. It was allowed to be practiced. It was the only martial art allowed to be practiced in Japan for many years after the war. And then in about the early 50s, one of the founder's friends brought it to Hawaii, and it quickly spread throughout the world.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
And it started from this gentleman in Japan who was very proficient in sword fighting, karate, and all kinds of fighting. And he wasn't particularly nice, but he had a religious friend and trainer. And one day the man asked, "Why don't you do something good with all that martial art training?" He said, "Like what?" He goes, "I don't know. You go figure it out." And a long story short, he did figure it out. And he realized that he could defend himself against any attack, multiple attackers, and not get hurt. And he didn't hurt them either. And they were all bewildered and either laying on the ground or walking away in a kind of bewildered state as to what happened. And all conflict had stopped.
Okay, so that particular martial art have not been exposed in the community in Stockton. When did that it started in the USA, in California?
Yeah, it has a real.
It started?
Yeah, it's a real short trail. Real short trail from the founder to his 15 or so disciples, if you will, who were the original core members who learned Aikido. They'd all hid during the end of the World War II.
They hid or hid?
They hid.
Oh, they hid, okay.
They hid. It would be like us going to Silver Lake Camp 2 hours away and just being draft dodgers, being conscientious objectors. Okay. And so there's that generation. Then these people disseminated, and that was the next gen. Well, they went back to their home parts of Japan. Some went to Europe. Some went to South America.
Okay.
And we're the next generation. So
of disciple.
Yeah,
martial art.
When you talk to people, they say, "Oh yeah, I train with so and so and so and so," and you trace the line real easily because it's it's real short. Whereas karate, they go back for generations.
Okay, so how did you get involved? What the benefit Aikido? Did I get it right?
Aikido.
Aikido.
Yeah.
A-I-K-I-K-I-D-O. Benefit for people who are not fully flexible, need to get up against bullies. It could be any ages, whether you're old, young, middle-aged, overweight, tired, whatever.
Yeah.
Help out. Tell me about that. Because for me, I had experienced it. This is gonna be my 4th class, and everything was positive. The beginning it was kind of negative a little bit. Like I was kind of scared and nervous, and I started gradually get to where I need to be, where I feel confident, feel like you're sweating a lot. Your body getting used to the movement. And when I saw them doing martial art, it's like dancing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's like a performance thing.
Yeah, the main move is like a waltz turn. It's a waltz turn, or a polka turn.
What's that?
Where you spin around and you grab your partner and you spin with them and you both do it together.
Like a cowboy dance, like a western.
Like a salsa or a swing dance, and you get to the advantage point where you swing them. And they don't have their balance, and you do. And they go.
Okay.
So it's much like a swing dance or a waltz. Sometimes it looks like a tango.
Like a tango.
And it's all designed to put you in the right balance, and your partner's disadvantaged in the balance, and they'll.
Okay, so you're talking about students when you're taking classes, but when you have no partner going out the real world. You don't want to have that partner. So you want to kind of self-defense.
They become an unwilling partner. Dance partner.
Yeah.
If they come into your space, then you just greet them and say, "Oh, thank you for the opportunity to practice." And
really, practice, yeah, practice.
You try not to get angry.
Okay.
And then after they've gotten out of your harm, after you've gotten out of harm's way, hopefully they've kind of given up on their attack. And if not, you stay with them until they cool off.
Okay, now, I know that different teachers have different style of teaching their students, different like meditation, technical, and
yes.
How is that for people who are new there will benefit Aikido? Tell me what the good and the good negative thing. I mean, good or negative thing about Aikido that they'll face their challenges.
Yeah, it gets us to challenge our fears of being either grabbed from behind or several people grabbing us or chasing us. And just like other sports, after you rehearse those scenarios, then you get good at it. It's like a double play. If you didn't play baseball, if you'd never played and you saw a double play, you'd just think it was incredible.
Okay. Anything else besides the benefit of that Aikido?
Well, it gets you. The best part is it gives you a confidence. You go into a crowd and you look and you say, "Well, these are big people, but no one's going to grab me and take me anywhere. No one's going to poke me unless I surprise me." And then I'll have plan B ready. It won't be as good as if I hadn't gotten surprised. But it gives you confidence. We rehearse, try and rehearse the worst case scenario. And then if you escape from that, then everything else is relatively easy.
Okay, so tell me, how do you get involved with Aikido? So tell me your story.
Oh boy, I started when I was 16. We tried to learn from a book when I was maybe 10 or 11. My father had met one of the disciples in Japan.
So you tell me, can you explain to the audience what disciple means?
Disciple, the way I use it is there were about 15 or so of his best friends that came with him when he hid from the war, hid being a conscientious objector. And when the founder died, they all went home with their idea of what Aikido should be. Some were a little rough, some were a little not so rough.
Okay.
But compared to jiu-jitsu and those other horrible things, they were really pretty decent, even at their roughest. Someone's trying to kill you and you happen to break their arm. Well, too bad. Yeah, who's gonna fault you? Nobody. But if you break their neck, then you say, well, then the legal things happen, But it gives a nice ending to all the conflicts. It doesn't have the humiliation that comes with being defeated. All the throws, all the techniques are designed to create peace. Even they may be twisting your wrist or your arm, but in a way that doesn't alert your anger and defense and all these. You realize, you say, wow, this guy could have really clobbered me, and they haven't, or they didn't yet. And maybe I made a mistake.
Okay.
And it gives you a chance to reconcile. And unfortunately, most of our scrapes are with people we know. About 70% of our people, the fist fights and whatnot, are with people we know. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a statistic of the Aikido? No, that's 70%. That's a very high.
Something like it's outrageous. It may not be that much, but it is for women. It is. Women, it's about 70% people they know.
Oh, 7%. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you teach women classes? Do you control their anger, control their fear, control their fear and flight response?
Yeah, we were for the women's self-defense class. It's a little different than the regular Aikido class.
Why is that?
Well, we talk more strategies on prevention, how to avoid the person that's possibly going to be trouble. And we rehearse the worst case scenario, being pounced on and strangled. And they get out of that quite readily. And everything else becomes, we grab their hair and they just wind out. And the most interesting thing I've noticed from the women's classes is they have picked up the feeling once they defend themselves, it's just defending their space. There's no gotcha, or I'm going to get you, I'm going to do anything else to you. They've all figured that out, and that usually comes with black belts.
So women who have black belt are tended to be more aggressive?
No, it's just something, they just say my space, and they go boom, and they throw you hard, but there's no anger or anything in the throw. And that
threat, like something that will threaten them.
Yeah, and it takes, and it neutralizes the aggression versus someone who, because you'll feel the anger if you're thrown with anger, and you'll bounce up again and try and fight back some more. But our teacher, John Smart, would throw us like that. He'd throw you across the room. Sorry.
John Smart. So that is the founder of the new school?
Yes, he's our founder.
I heard that kid and you always talk about him.
Yeah.
So tell me, I know that there's a lot of change in the school with John Smart's strategy, and now they're changing something else, more traditional Aikido. So tell me, what the difference between that style and this style?
John had a very interesting time in Japan. He was serving in the Navy or Army, and he would go to
Navy, Army?
I forget which one of them. And he would go to Tokyo, and they had a headquarters, and about 10 or 12 teachers would come teach there. And he picked his favorites, and then he picked his extra favorite and went to live with them for a couple of years, as did a few other foreigners. And then he came here and added to it some of his own strategies and feelings, and changed it a little bit. And then he started his dojo, and there were 2 dojos at the time.
Okay, now people who don't know what dojo means, what does that
mean? A dojo is a practice hall.
Okay, thank you.
And so Mr. Tree was my teacher, a Vietnamese.
Okay.
And let's see. And then our teacher moved back to Sacramento, and John's club was John's new school Aikido was the club in town.
In Stockton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just fabulous. He incorporated all his teachings and some other teachings from other areas that he's learned, and developed a real nice style to just put an end to the conflict. It was a painless way that didn't scare anybody, didn't scare them throwing them. It was just over. It just had a nice end.
it's over the flow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he had a nice,
So
has a nice
it's
flow.
a non-threatening environment, but yet it's a way of avoiding your attacker, and well, also that it help you know how to remove the space from when you're in conflict and in danger.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, just it's all about escaping, and we do a lot of evasions, and then we do
What does evasion mean?
So someone comes to grab your arm, and you just pull your arm away in a fashion that they won't be able to hold on.
So you do practice style of wrist technique to let go. And, a lot of men like to grab their women's arm and really tight, and they can hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't like it's like a domineering thing.
Yes.
You know, and then Cassandra just kind of like grab it and go like this with the thumb, and I went like this, and they went, woo! You know, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. A lot of people don't know that.
The police use the same hold, some of them, exactly.
Oh, so do you have police that come?
There have been from time to time.
Okay.
And they say, oh yeah, and they just go right. They just take right to it because they've used. But they don't.
Do you offer? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you guys offer classes for cadet who's become a police officer that they don't have to use force or gun, and they just have.
Well, they learn the same things in their classes.
What kind of class do they take?
Well, they take
different
martial art classes and some Aikido moves. You know, the same moves, but they're used. They're not using it on a friend. You know, they have to use it in the most powerful way.
Okay.
You know, whereas what I've been trying to do lately, once I figured out about 70% of the women get attacked by their significant others, is you have to make it real tight without feeling it, much the way you'd swaddle a baby. Just nice and loose, so they can't get away, but they're all tightened in a nice knot, and they can't, and they're going against it.
Okay, so you kind of, when they hold it in forward, you kind of move the flow of the force.
You keep it flowing, so it's not cranking on them, but it's right there. If they can't go back either.
Right.
They go here, they go, can't go that way, and then you go, and it's very gentle instead of grabbing and throwing. And what else?
Well, that's good to know. So, what else can Aikido offer in Stockton community to provide classes?
What other kinds of classes?
What kind of Aikido offer beginning class?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Advanced class.
Yeah, they have classes for children. They have classes for little kids.
Too. They do that class
yeah, and
they were telling me about that too. Every Friday at 11.
Yeah, 10 to 11.
Oh, 10
and
to 11.
I've been to the last 3 or 4 of those. And there's most.
How was that for people who don't know about people that disabled?
It was the most incredible. I've been teaching Aikido for 40 years, and that's the most incredible class I've ever taught.
Why is that? What's so different about what you taught in this particular class?
Well, they knew they were defending themselves. They knew it's a self-defense class, and they knew when it was their turn and who was after them. And when they would perform the Aikido moves, there wasn't one bit of gotcha, sucker, or gonna put you down on the ground or anything. It was just all part of the game.
Oh, really?
It was all part of a game. Just before one guy hit it perfect, just before they came after him, he goes, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Excited and enthusiastic.
He wasn't scared like, oh, here comes somebody after me, I'm gonna throw him down. He's like, okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh boy.
So the attitude is really good. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the attitude is creating confidence and attitude with people with disability.
Yeah.
Are there, so most of the classes
Yeah.
just in general disability for blindness, deafness, wheelchair? What is our people?
I don't think there's really no restriction. You could do it in a wheelchair. You could do it. Blind. One of the guys comes. He's blind. If you were, if blindness was your only problem, you do that. Sometimes we do that. We make people close their eyes, and
Really?
and we don't sock them, but we come and grab them, and from behind and choke them and try and get them in serious holds. You know, everything except poking them. Obviously, we're not that good. We're not that good yet.
Okay, so that's good that you talk people with disability in the school.
Yeah,
Are
especially.
there? Do they only have? They only go like once the every Friday?
Yeah, it's
and
once a week.
Friday?
Yeah, once a week.
It's once Friday.
Yeah.
Once a week. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have women class for self-defense too, for people who have been disabilities, been homeless, been human trafficking. How did that been
I'm not
supported
sure.
in the community?
I'm
Kate
not
said
sure.
that they keep,
Whatever Kate said is.
yeah, that they do that too. So that's a
Okay.
good thing, you know.
Yeah, and we have classes from 4 to 8 years old, and like 8 to 16, and then they join the adult classes. They have beginners, adults. They have intermediate and advanced.
So I know that you have. You know, so tell me, I when I first came, you guys wear like a dress. No, I don't know the dress. I don't know what the proper way.
The bottom is called a hakama.
The black one.
Yeah.
The hakama. Okay.
Hakama, and it's the tradition that the sword fighters had, and the reason they wore them was to hide the movement of their feet, so you couldn't see their feet exactly behind the skirt.
Oh. Okay.
And when you're fencing, every inch makes a difference.
Okay.
So if you think I'm over here and I'm really here, and I'm just
okay,
so they just kept that as a tradition.
Gotcha. Because there were a lot of people telling me they have you got your version of your tradition. There's one that they use the skirt to hide the sword too. Also, no. Okay.
No, hide the feet.
Well,
hide the legs.
A lot of
The
people have their
traditional
own
legs.
way of thinking why.
But you could hide whatever you want in there.
Yeah.
I'd hide a gun. No, I had a squirt gun with ammonia.
So how do you get the what do you say, kamaka?
Hakama.
The hakama. How do you get? Okay, I know that people wear white.
Mm-hmm.
They use the yellow belt, black, green belt, red belt, or whatever. How, all that stage just before you get to that.
Black belt.
That's called black belt. When you
Yeah, in Japan, the women and the black belts
okay.
wear the hakamas.
Okay, and the men do the same thing too.
And then here, they make everybody wait until they get a black belt. The women don't wear them.
Don't wear them
until they get a black belt.
Okay, so how many women that are in Aikido have black belt that teach classes?
There are about, I think, 4 or 5 of us teaching now.
Self-defense and beginning and advanced as well, right?
Yeah, maybe more, maybe 6. Yeah, about 6.
6?
Yeah.
And even including K-Song? Because I
think
kids
so.
like to teach kids. I'm really good with that.
Yeah, there may be even more, maybe 8.
So do you think martial arts, okay, let me throw you a question. Do you think martial arts is, in a women's perspective, do you think women think that martial arts is men predominant sport than women?
Yeah, of course they do.
Why is that?
It's just history. I mean, they haven't. When did that break? I don't know. Probably 20 years ago that women started becoming more into those, into the men's sports.
Okay.
But and Aikido is nice because they don't have to get hit. They don't have to get kicked. They don't have to get thrown down like judo, and you can learn how to defend yourself, and you can have fun.
Oh yeah, I felt good. I felt accepted. They know my limit. They were extra cautious how I was feeling, what I was going through. If I had a pain in my back, don't go too far. You're doing it wrong.
And sometimes you land and kind of giggle.
Giggle, yeah.
And sometimes you throw people and
yeah.
you kind of giggle and they giggle.
Yeah,
And it's the same. It's still that way. Even throw someone soft or hard, as long as they're not hurt, then everybody laughs.
Yeah, I have to when I work on
it's easier to make someone crash.
Right. Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah.
And it's easier to make enemies than friends.
Well, we don't want to do that at a Aikido.
No.
You know, we're supposed to be
So
family there. You know.
Well.
So tell me, what about so what class for the new year? There's a special going on for the new year.
Well, there's 2-week classes start January 1st at 6:15, and then we're having a women's self-defense class starting February 2nd, going through the month of May. And
where's that at?
That's going to be at the dojo, the Aikido New School.
Oh, dojo, okay.
And that will be, it's sort of a crash course.
Well, it'll be like a quick course?
Well, it's quick. It'll 4 months will cover everything perfect. And we'll discuss more strategies and tactics, how to avoid bad dates and bad setups that we don't usually talk about in Aikido.
Right, I totally agree that we need to talk about that, because that's why I want to make sure that Aikido I know to be self-defense strategy and all the things that's out there in the bad world. You have to defend yourself from terrorists, from gun, knife, especially living in Stockton. You don't know who you have to watch your back. You have to know your surrounding.
Yes.
And and try not to be victimized. That's what I'm trying to emphasize this show and going to a new year. I don't want to be victimized. Good. I refuse to be victimized if somebody's going to attack me. I want to know how to keep my space, be confident. Like, hey, now I know. I even have dreamed a couple of classes when I learned to protect good mood.
Oh,
and I'm dreaming about like, wow, it's like.
Oh yeah.
I was like going with the motion, and it was kind of like what I was not expecting those things. So it was fear first, but after that, I put myself on the line. Say, you know what? I'm not going to be scared to be playing victim. I'm not to be confident about what I need to let my frustration, my anger, or just people bullying me. Verbally,
our tolerance.
You kind of calm yourself down. Like, okay.
It's much easier. You can just calm. Yeah, it's you find this. It's not some things aren't worth fighting these people over, and part of that comes from the Aikido training. If a big force is coming, you can get out of the way and let it go. Okay. If it's pulling you, you walk with it.
Oh, really? People, well, you know what? I have a good experience with this. I definitely think you guys should go. It's 2 weeks, free. I definitely think it'd be a good New Year tradition, New Year's resolution. It helped with me. Wait, look, I'm already sweating just by the light. Over there, I sweat just by standing. You don't have to go to the club, weight club to go on cardio. You be, doing a lot of just basic body movement with your arm, your leg, your breathing technique. I mean, that's something that
it keeps you limber. It won't build your muscles. It probably won't build your endurance.
Well, it builds my endurance because I wasn't used to it.
You'll stay flexible.
Right.
You'll always be rolling around, and that feels good.
The only thing the first 2 days, my leg was sore for a while.
Yeah, the legs are
kind of kneeling.
Yeah, and bending down.
So that's the one bad effect. But other than that, I came over it. I didn't give up. So I think definitely that's worth trying. And I think women should try it, even students with people with disability should try it, whether you're blind or deaf. When I'm deaf, I was kind of hesitant about it because just with my hearing is pulled off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hear. If I take my glasses off, I couldn't see. So it's like a lot of things going on in my mind. So if I lose it, I can't see the movement. I'm blind. I'm legally blind without my glasses.
Oh shit.
If I take my hearing off, I'm legally deaf, but I can see. So I really have to.
Yeah.
And I'm very sensitive to people. Two teachers told me, it was kind of funny, is that I'm very sensitive perspective to people surrounding. The other teacher told me that I'm very detail-oriented, surrounded. So I got 2 compliments from each 2 teachers. So it depends on what day that I feel like the most good day or bad day, you know. So anyway, it's good. I really admire. And so, what maybe your New Year advice for them for Aikido school project? Because there's always something going on there. So, are there any event and support a community that you go and make known to other people in Stockton in the community?
You mean to get interest for Aikido? Or?
That and just spread awareness as well.
Well, this is my first attempt. I mean, I've been inviting people to Aikido forever, but this is a more focused time, so I'm going to get a bunch of flyers and hopefully get Kate and I, if we can do a quick demo for someone, give them a few flyers, and, you know, all we need is a few people. We don't need that many to make it work.
Well, you know, I know the class. How much it cost to join the class or school?
This class is gonna the women's self-defense class is gonna be comes out to about $75 a month or less. Actually, less, about $65 a month. And then the regular classes, I think, are around $100 a month. And then they have family arrangements, group arrangements, and kids are less, of course.
Okay, so you do have a list of people, a different variety of schedule going.
Yeah, it's all different. I don't know how she works it.
Do you think those type of classes are a lot cheaper than going to a health club?
Let's see, going to a health club. Mine's.
Yeah, I mean, I think
mine's.
Let me rephrase that. Do you think the benefit of that going to a health club are more improvement than you go to a traditional health club?
It's different. It's apples and oranges. It's different. One's is just a whole different focus. Like I said, you won't get stronger and you won't get more endurance. You'll just have fun, and you'll learn how to take care of yourself. You'll still have time to go to the gym.
Okay. Well, now you have the teacher, Torrey, letting you know. But I do think that I lost about 5 pounds already of water just by doing the technique already. You
were there in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was tough in the summer, but it's you got it. We'll find some dancers. The dancers do very well. Anyone with dancing steps?
That Thursday you had one of the teachers from Japan.
Oh yeah, he came.
What was the turnout?
He was good. About 10 of us were there, and he showed us a few different moves from a different style, a slightly different style of Aikido, called Yoshinkai.
How do you spell that?
Yoshinkai. From, I think the teacher's name was
Peter.
No, that's a Yoshin. Oh, his name was Robert Philpott. And his branch was from, it's Yoshinkan. I'm trying to think of the sensei, but it rhymes with Yoshinkai.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. And it was very traditional, and he threw us all around. We had a good time.
But he threw it around.
They're real strong throws.
So, did you video? Do you?
Somebody did, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you have a lot of people purporting it and public go and watch the performance? They're like dancers. Look, when you go to that and you watch them from the outside and looking into the back to the mat, and you're looking at it, you can look like they're like you're watching a theatrical dance.
Yeah, much so. Yeah, it goes back and forth. It goes back and forth. There's no real set moves that you need to do. You just need to keep moving.
That's what I mean. You can lose weight by keep moving.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But anyway, thank you, Corey. Is there anything people would like to contact you for more information?
No, they can just call the New School Aikido Club, on Fremont, 1010 Fremont Street, near the wharf. And it's actually Yosemite and Fremont, right at that intersection. And anyone can come check it out for a couple weeks and see if they like it. You either like it a lot or you go, oh my God, I don't want to. Yeah, not ready.
But anyway, I think it's very simple martial art, and I really enjoy it. It gave me a good, positive, confidence myself because I had that experience. I live by my testimony, and I still honor that testimony because I was afraid I won. I think I don't know what I'm gonna get myself into. But the more I got into it, the more I started. Okay, this is really helping me a lot. Understanding of what my body could do and what the flow of the body could go through, and how to breathe and how to understand and be calm in a situation, and that is good too. So, well, thank you everyone for watching the Vigil Show, KXVS, the voice of Stockton. Thank you, Torrey, for coming by and telling us what the New Year's resolution will come next year. It'll be a positive thing, and hopefully we'll all practice and not be victimized in Stockton, and hopefully we can do something about it. Right?
Sounds good.
All right, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
KXVS on 92.1. Coming soon.